Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight, where we look at what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Now, my name's Rod McKenzie, and today I want to talk about Central Asia and Russia's decision to lift its ban on any type of relationship with the Taliban government in Afghanistan. And that's set to have a significant impact on politics in the Central Asian region. For Moscow, this could be an opportunity to participate in major regional projects. In turn, this will enable the states of Central Asia to potentially gain access to direct ports in the Indian Ocean via the personal Govt via Afghanistan. Now, Russia's Supreme Court has recently overturned the ban on the Taliban movement in Afghanistan that has been in place for over 2 decades. Now, the courts ordered the removal of the Taliban from the list of terrorist organisations, and a decision that's been welcomed by the government in Kabul. Now, as the head of the Russian Foreign Ministry, the highly respected and real diplomat Sergei Lavrov explained, the ministry considered it necessary to exclude the Taliban from the list of banned groups, since actually they are now the real power in Afghanistan. So in effect, this signifies the legal acknowledgement of the emerging political landscape in Afghanistan, where the Taliban have been in power since the Americans sort of ran away humiliatingly in 2021. Furthermore, this decision will encourage the development of trade and economic ties, as well as security cooperation between the states of Central Asia. Following the humiliating withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan, trade turnover between Moscow and Kabul's reached about $1 billion, and this is mainly petrol and diesel with some liquefied petroleum gas. Now, before I continue, I'd like to make an appeal. If you like and enjoy my videos, you can help me fund the channel and my website, SCOBRICSinsight.com, to further develop it. You do this by making a small donation, which you can do by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen. Everybody who donates does get a personal thank you from me, and I'm thanking you all now. Do keep the comments coming, do like, share and subscribe. I love the comments, I love to respond to them. Now, over the past couple of decades, there's been a shift in the relationship following from mutual hostility to cooperation. Now, following diplomatic efforts, the Moscow format of consultations on Afghanistan were actually established back in 2017, with representatives of the countries of the region and the Taliban participating. That was Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, by the way. By the time the Taliban entered the Afghan capital again in 2021, Russia had already had significant contacts with the movement. And then in 2021, President Vladimir Putin stated that Moscow would remove the Taliban from its terrorist list at the relevant time. Indeed, Russian officials have been in dialogue with representatives of the movement, and they've been invited to various events in the past, including the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum in the past. The decision now goes from ongoing diplomatic efforts between the two countries. Last spring, the Russia's special presidential representative to Afghanistan, Zamir Kabulov, stated that the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had informed the Russian President Vladimir Putin about the possibility that he should lift the ban. They felt it was an excellent idea and it would certainly facilitate greater security within the region. So the Supreme Court of the Russian Federation's decision to lift the ban on the activities of the Taliban movement does actually signal a new phase in the geopolitical landscape of Central Asia. In particular, it creates an opportunity for Russia to participate in some large-scale regional projects such as the construction of TAPI, which is the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India gas pipeline, plus the Trans-Afghan Railway. According to Kabulov, Afghanistan's abundant mineral resources and advantageous geographical position offer considerable opportunities for collaboration, with the potential for the country to serve as a pivotal transit hub between Russia and Central and South Asia. Now, there's going to be a Central Asian forum in Kazan in June, and it's going to look at projects to build the Termez, Naibad, Logar, Karachi, Mazar al-Sharaf, Herat, Dilam, Kandahar, Shaman railways. Now, the total length of the proposed railways is over 573 kilometres, with a projected throughput capacity of 20 million tonnes of cargo per year. I mean, the next stage could also involve the construction of the TAPI, the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline for the export of Turkmen gas, and possibly TAPI 2 for the supply of Russian gas through that as well. In addition, the completion of the construction of the Kandahar hydroelectric power station, as well as the Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan energy project, which Moscow considered participating in a few years ago. Now, Omar Nessar, who's a research fellow at the International Institute of Oriental Studies at the Russian Academy of Sciences, explains that Russia and the Taliban are establishing cooperation also in the fight against terrorism. I mean, he did, however, observe that the Taliban representatives can be challenging to work with, although I think that's a bit of an understatement given the fact that they follow a rigidly medieval societal structure and dress in a kind of weird way. So you might be right. I mean, selective cooperation is emerging as the Taliban are actively opposing ISIS, which is a terrorist organisation banned in Russia. Pretty much banned everywhere else, although it's pretty much financed, I understand, by the USA, and they're now heading things in Syria, thanks to the USA, of course. Now, both states are interested in neutralising the threats emanating from these international terrorist groups, as well as stabilising the situation in the region. Analysts also added that demands for the human rights remain important and relevant for Moscow, but Moscow does feel its best way to influence the Taliban is through dialogue directly, rather than hectoring and pushing at them. I mean, Russian authorities have stated on numerous occasions that the recognition of the Taliban is contingent on the respect for human rights. Well, we'll see about that now, won't we? We're a bit like the Americans, you know. Human rights are great, but don't get in the way of making money. Now, the authorities in Afghanistan are expected to respect women's rights, and create an inclusive government with the participation of various ethnic groups. Good luck with that. Now, the analyst also added that removing the Taliban's terrorist status is a step towards its legitimization, but it will not be officially recognizing the Taliban. It's just saying they're no longer terrorists. I mean, according to Alexei Kuprianov, head of the South Asian group at the Center for Asian Pacific Studies at the Russian Foreign University, has looked at three issues out of the current situation. The first one is a purely technical one. I mean, the construction of a pipeline traversing the mountainous terrain of Afghanistan is costly and intricate undertaking. It's definitely possible. Russia's done it before with the power of Siberia. But if Russia's going to participate in the project, it needs to know that it's essential that Afghanistan knows and understands the reasons for its involvement, the potential benefits and drawbacks. Now, in his professional opinion, that second difficulty is the absence of any guarantees of stability in Afghanistan, and will they be maintained over an extended period. I mean, he said there's no certainty that the current or future regime will not want to use the pipeline as an instrument of political pressure. Finally, of course, the third problem is relations between India and Pakistan, which are not exactly cordial. I mean, they might be both members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but that doesn't mean they're friends. So even if there are improvements, the analyst believes that the Indians will not designate TAPI as a primary gas supply line, as they wouldn't want it to be heavily developed dependent on Pakistan or Afghanistan. Now, Professor Rustam Barnashev of the Kazakh State University noted that the Russian Supreme Court's decision to lift the ban demonstrates that Russia's actually recognized the objective reality that's been developing over the past few years. Russia's recognized the importance of engaging with the Taliban. The impact of these developments on the geopolitical landscape of Central Asia do remain to be seen. But from my perspective, this creates opportunities for Russia to create more and participate more actively in the so-called trans-Afghan initiatives. I mean, This represents an added incentive for the Asian central countries to establish projects. It's worth noting, though, that Afghanistan has observer status in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is currently suspended, and this decision by the Russian Supreme Court might change that status in the near future. So anyway, let's see what happens with Afghanistan, and it's always coming back into the news. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Also set the alert button so you get informed when I post a new video, and click on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen if you want to make a donation. Thank you for watching. See you all again soon. Thanks.